Hello, loves, and welcome to the Introverts Toolbox, the podcast for introverts who feel like the world's kind of fucked up, where the biggest and craziest people get all the success, and we're left wondering, like, oh my god, what the hell do we do? My name's Karen Hewitt, and I am your host, and we're going to go over systems, methods, and skills you can use as an introvert to be authentically you and be successful. So, subscribe and share this on your social media, and don't forget to give us 5 stars, and let's get started. Hello, my loves. So today I want to talk to you a little bit more following the Shadow Work podcast that we did just a couple of episodes ago. And this is about your self-work and self-worth and the things that are going on in your mind. I really wanted to bring this up because I'm always going to be very raw, very authentic, very real with you. And this is something I have been struggling with, which is why I was doing that shadow work. And as introverts, I find that we tend to internalize a lot more than our extroverted counterparts. Our extroverted counterparts will be like, I've had a bad day, who's out for a drink first? Whereas we'd be like, I've had a bad day, let me go into a corner and hide and try and recharge. So I think this conversation about mental health is incredibly important. So let's talk about what is mental health. And when I grew up, and this is probably going to date me, there was a lot of stigma around mental health. It was actually, you didn't want to admit that you had anything going on because that made you a bad person. It was very stigmatized. And it has actually led to men, especially. Men will completely hide it because how dare a man be struggling or hurting or having to deal with something. But women do too, especially mothers, because we have to be strong for our kids. You know, they're going to say this and that about our kids, or what we're doing, call us a bad parent, and all this kind of stuff. So there's a lot of stigma attached to mental health. And it honestly is a struggle because you're supposed to have it all. You're supposed to have it all together. You're supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to be running the absolute best way you can. And really, and I want to know if anyone relates this. You're supposed to be doing all this. All you're worried about each day is, did I fuck it up? Did I fuck up today more than I fucked up yesterday? And I'm sharing that with you because one, I want you to know that you're not alone. And two, I kind of want to get it out because I don't think it's discussed enough. We're starting to get into a realm where mental health is viewed as important. And unfortunately, here in the US, we've not done a good job of helping people with mental health because we tend to pity them, we tend to put them down, we tend to relate it to other things. And I'm currently on a journey of my own because one of the things I'm looking at doing is investigating whether or not I'm dealing with some neurodivergence, because a lot of the things that I see listed are things I struggle with. And I've always thought it was because I was less than, that I wasn't worthy, that I wasn't capable, that maybe I could do stuff, maybe I wasn't someone that anyone should be willing to invest the time into. And I would get into this spiral where I would beat myself up. And just, if you're listening and you do this too, again, you are not alone. You are not alone, and you are worthy, and you are beautiful, and you are cared for, and you are loved. But it's like, I'm looking at these things now, and a lot of things that I grew up with. For example, I was the gifted child. By gifted, I was an obnoxious little shit that would correct her teachers, tell them where to go because they got a math problem wrong and I knew the answer. I took learning and reading and I just completely, oh my gosh, I sucked it in and I bled it dry. But I was not very social. I did not know how to deal with people. I would get hyperfixated on things, and then I would also daydream. And my mind would go off into a million different places. And if I was hyperfixated or daydreaming, you couldn't get my attention to save your life because I was in my own place. I took myself to my own place with my books all the time. I took myself to my own place all the time with my studies. So this hyperfixation versus daydreaming. And then also it's the making lists. Oh my gosh, if you see my list is terrible. I am a listaholic. I have lists for everything. And there's a couple of reasons why I do this. Someone told me that having these filters are coping mechanisms I've done to keep my mind focused. But the other part of it is I did get a brain injury, a TBI, when I was in the domestic violence relationship. And since then, my memory's not been quite where it was. So I do need to have lists to keep myself on track. But the other part of this as well is sometimes you can just feel down and not know why. And what I do, and it frustrates my best friend to no end, is I do this thing where I disassociate. And I don't have any emotional steps in me at all when I'm disassociated. Everything is very calm, everything's very peaceful, everything's yes, no, I don't know, maybe, could be. I don't get passionate, I don't get excited because I disconnect from everything. I completely disconnect. And it's one of my recharge mechanisms. And I am being so raw and real with you guys right now. I'm like telling all these things that I am literally scared to death to share because I did grow up with a stigma about it. I did grow up that maybe not being perfect was wrong. I did grow up being told I had to hyperachieve and have to succeed in every level of everything that I do. And that in itself has led to me not putting my mental health first. I don't do things that most people do. And I'm going to tell you one of the best pieces of advice, and I'm actually currently looking into this. I'm going to give you some advice and I'm going to tell you some of the things I do and some of the things I'm working to do. One, I journal. If you haven't journaled, journaling is something that is super important. And I do this thing called the brain dump. And literally you take every piece of anything in your head and you throw it on paper. You throw it on paper and you just let it out, whether it makes sense or doesn't make sense, because it gets it out and it helps you organize your brain. It helps you organize how you're thinking. It helps you figure out what's going on in there. And I also journal. I journal what happened today. And then I ask myself 3 questions. How did it make me feel? Why did I do the things I did? And now, what would I like more of and less of? And what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out what makes me happy and what makes me sad. If it makes me sad, I want less of it. If it makes me happy, I want more of it. So what did you do? How did it make you feel? Do you want to do it more or less? And if it's something that makes you happy, then do more of it. Start integrating that into your life. The next thing is meditation. I have this app, it's called Happify, and I absolutely love it because it's free and you can have these tracks where you can focus on different things, but it has meditations, it has activities, it has all these different things that you can do to help you work on different areas of your life, whether it be work focus, happiness, relationships, your relationship with food. These are different ones that I've done. So definitely check out Happify. Happify is this really fun, you play games, you listen to meditations, you read articles, and it challenges you to do tasks, all to help you get a little bit further in what you need to do. Then 3, this is the one I'm going to be working towards. And if you can hear my kids in the background, I am a mom and I do everything around them. And that is I'm looking at getting myself someone to talk to. And one of my mentors says, if you haven't got a therapist, even if you don't think you need one, get one, because being able to communicate is one of the best things that you can do. So that is something that I'm actually looking into. I got a lot going on. Everyone does. We're humans. We're allowed to be emotional wrecks. We're allowed to be completely elated and joyful. We're allowed to be sad and cry. What is not allowed is for you to say that your mental well-being is not worthy of the time and effort to handle it when it is. And so this is where we're going to talk about this because, like I said, introverts, we have this habit. We tend to go off into the corner and introspect everything and keep it all to ourselves. And really what you need to do is just talk about it. You need to let it out. You need to, whether you let it out by journaling, whether you let it out in meditation, whether you let it out by having a therapist. These are things that you want to do to help you grow. And I want you to take away from the idea of there being a stigma. There's a stigma because we don't discuss it enough. And your mental health matters. So this is just a real quick episode because I wanted to impress upon you that you're worthy, you're amazing. I love the fuck out of you guys. Seriously. And even if you feel alone right now, someone out there does give a shit. Okay. May never have met you, but someone gives you a shit about you. So keep that in mind. And I want you to make a promise to yourself that you're going to start putting your mental health first. Drop what you learned, drop your ideas. Let's share things in this community about how we can help people with mental health, how we can help people feel better, how we can help you be stronger, how we can help you grow more, do more, be more, but be happy as you do it. And we'll talk to you next time. Ta-ra for now.
And thank you for listening to another episode of the Introverts Toolbox. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And you know what? I want to know, what is one thing you learned today? Is there something that you're going to take and use in your life or your business? Let me know below.